this video is about. She sat inside the subway station, and a rich stranger returned her lost scarf. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead in the subway station, casting a sterile glow over the throngs of commuters bustling to and fro. The air was heavy with the scent of damp concrete and the faint stir of distant train engines, harmonizing with the echoing footsteps that filled the cavernous space. Among the sea of faces, one stood stationary, a small island of solitude amidst the rushing tide. Her name was Eliza Dawson. Eliza shifted in her seat, her fingers idly drumming against the cold metal of the bench. She wore a long, navy blue coat that swept just above her knees, its fabric soft yet worn from years of use. A vibrant red scarf, now lost to the chaos, had once adorned her neck, adding a splash of color that matched her fiery auburn hair. The scarf was a gift from her late grandmother, an intricate knit pattern that had become a cherished talisman against the winter chill. It had slipped from her grasp during an early morning dash to work, a mundane day that now felt like a cruel twist of fate. She sighed, her breath visible in the crisp air, as she recalled the moment of loss, the way the scarf fluttered like a bird escaping her fingers. She could still picture it, spiraling down to the ground, a flash of red swallowed by the crowd. Every day since, she had returned to the station, hoping for a miracle, her heart heavy with the weight of nostalgia. Just then, the screech of a train arriving jolted her from her reverie. The crowd surged forward like a tide, but she remained seated, the world around her fading into a blur. With an uncharacteristic boldness, she pulled out her sketchbook, a companion of sorts, and began to draw the scene before her. Blurred commuters, rushing feet, and the distant outline of the train. Eliza had always found solace in her art, a way to capture fleeting moments and emotions. Each stroke of her pencil was a dance of light and shadow, reflecting her own inner turmoil. As she sketched, she let her mind wander, allowing thoughts of her grandmother to wash over her. It was in these moments of creation that she felt closest to the woman who had taught her to appreciate beauty in the mundane. "Penny for your thoughts." A voice broke through her concentration, warm and rich, like honey dripping from a spoon. Eliza looked up, startled. Standing before her was a man, tall and confident, with tousled dark hair and striking blue eyes that seemed to glow even in the harsh lighting. He wore a tailored coat that hinted at wealth, the fabric glistening slightly as he shifted. He didn't look like the typical subway commuter. He looked like he had just stepped off the pages of a fashion magazine, exuding an effortless charm. "Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt," he said with a lopsided smile, his demeanor relaxed yet attentive. "I couldn't help but notice your concentration. You're quite talented." Eliza felt her cheeks flush, a mixture of surprise and embarrassment. "Thank you," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. She glanced down at her sketchbook, a sudden self-consciousness creeping in. "It's nothing, really." "Nothing? I beg to differ." He stepped closer, glancing at the page. "I can see the energy radiating off this scene. It's like you captured a kaleidoscope of movement." "I'm not sure I'd call it that," she responded, attempting to deflect the compliment. "It's just a bunch of figures." "No, it's more than that," he insisted, leaning slightly closer. She could see the way his eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. "Art has a way of revealing truths. It's like a window into your soul." Eliza swallowed hard, caught off guard by the intensity of his gaze. It felt as if he were peeling back her layers, exposing the vulnerabilities she often kept guarded. "I'm just trying to pass the time," she admitted, trying to downplay the weight of his words. He chuckled, a sound that resonated deep within her. "Well, you're doing a marvelous job. I'm not sure I'd be able to create something so beautiful amidst all this chaos. She felt a flutter in her stomach, the kind of nervous energy that came with unexpected encounters. I suppose it's a little easier when you're doing something you love, she said, her gaze flickering back to her sketch. Besides, I've been coming here long enough to enjoy the view. Enjoying the view is an art in itself, he replied, his voice smooth as silk. I'm Vincent, by the way, he added, extending a hand toward her. Eliza, she shook his hand, surprised by the warmth of his grip. Nice to meet you. Vincent flashed a smile, his eyes crinkling at the corners. So, Eliza, what brings you to this bustling hub of routine today? She hesitated, caught between the desire to share her truth and the instinct to keep her life private. Just working, I suppose. Art has a way of making the mundane seem beautiful, even in a subway station. He nodded, as if contemplating her words. And what do you do when you're not creating masterpieces in the subway? I'm a freelance illustrator, she said, nervously fiddling with the corner of her sketchbook. Mostly children's books, but I dabble in other projects too. Impressive, he responded, his eyes lighting up with genuine interest. You must have quite the imagination. Eliza couldn't help but smile at the compliment. I try, she said, warmth spreading through her. It's easier to dream when you have things that inspire you. And what inspires you? He probed, leaning forward slightly, his gaze penetrating yet gentle. She took a deep breath, weighing her response. I find beauty in the little things, strangers on the train, the way light filters through the trees, the laughter of children. My grandmother used to say that art was everywhere if you knew how to look for it. Vincent's expression softened, a flicker of understanding passing over his features. What was she like? Eliza felt the familiar pang in her chest, but she relished the opportunity to share a piece of her heart. She was incredible, always found joy in the simplest things, a cup of tea, a good book, or a walk in the park. She taught me the importance of appreciating life's fleeting moments. Vincent nodded slowly, as though absorbing her words. It sounds like she was a remarkable woman. I think I would have liked her. Thank you, Eliza said, her voice barely above a whisper. She meant the world to me. Just then, the train doors opened with a pneumatic hiss, and the rush of commuters surged forward, breaking the moment. Eliza felt the pull of the crowd, but a part of her wanted to linger, to weave this unexpected interaction into her tapestry of memory. It was a strange pull, an inexplicable connection shimmering between them. Do you need to get going? Vincent asked, his voice cutting through the din of footsteps. Not really. She started, then hesitated. She looked up at him, those deep blue eyes holding hers. I'm still waiting for the next train. Then let's not waste this moment, he said slowly, a hint of something more serious in his tone. Tell me, would you like to join me for a cup of coffee? I know a great little cafe nearby. Eliza's heart raced, the invitation hanging in the air like a sweet promise. She hesitated, a small voice in her head urging caution. I don't know if that's a good idea, she said, her pulse quickening. Why not? He pressed gently, an encouraging smile playing on his lips. You can tell me more about your art. I'd love to hear what inspires your illustrations. The intensity of his gaze made her heart flutter inexplicably. The chemistry between them crackled like static electricity. Well, coffee does sound nice, she finally conceded, a smile breaking through her initial reluctance. But just for a little while. Perfect, he replied, a grin spreading across his face, illuminating his features. Let's go before we're swept away by the next wave of commuters. As they stepped into the flow of foot traffic, Eliza felt a thrill of excitement intertwined with a hint of uncertainty. Perhaps it was the allure of spontaneity, the promise of connection, or the simple desire to escape the loneliness that wrapped around her like her lost scarf. Whatever it was, she felt buoyed by the possibility that amidst the chaos of life, she might have stumbled upon something beautiful, if only for a fleeting moment. The cafe was nestled on a quiet street, a cozy retreat from the frenetic energy of the subway station. As Vincent pushed open the glass door, a gentle chime announced their arrival. The warmth of the space enveloped Eliza, contrasting sharply with the brisk chill outside. She inhaled deeply, the rich aroma of freshly ground coffee mingling with the sweet scent of pastries, instantly soothing her nerves. "Welcome to my favorite hideaway," Vincent said, glancing back at her with a smile that made her heart race. "I promise it's worth the detour." Eliza returned his smile, her apprehension easing slightly. "It's lovely," she replied, taking in the rustic decor. Exposed brick walls adorned with local art, mismatched furniture that exuded charm, and dim lighting that created an intimate atmosphere. "How did you find this place?" "By chance, really. I was exploring the city one weekend, trying to escape the confines of my office," he replied, stepping to the counter and gesturing for her to join him. "The barista here is an artist in her own right. She makes the best lattes. What's your poison?" "A latte sounds perfect," Eliza said, feeling a flutter of anticipation as he ordered for both of them. She noticed the way he interacted with the barista, a quick exchange of friendly banter that revealed a warmth in his character, an ease that made her feel more comfortable. "See, instant coffee connection," he said with a wink as they stepped aside to wait for their drinks. "So, what's next on your artistic journey? Any exciting projects on the horizon?" Eliza felt a rush of pride. "I'm working on illustrating a children's book about a little girl who learns to find magic in the everyday. Kind of like how my grandmother taught me," she explained, her voice laced with enthusiasm. "It's been a labor of love, really." "Sounds beautiful. What kind of magic?" he asked, genuinely intrigued, leaning in closer. "Things like the way a leaf spins down from a tree or how the sunlight creates patterns on the ground," Eliza said, her eyes lighting up. "I want kids to see that the world is full of wonder if they just take a moment to look." "Sounds like a valuable lesson," Vincent replied, his gaze unwavering as he listened. "I think we could all use a reminder of that sometimes." A moment of silence settled between them, charged with an unspoken understanding. Eliza could feel the energy crackling, the chemistry palpable. Her heart raced as she caught his gaze lingering on her, an intensity that made her skin feel alive. "Do you ever feel like you're stuck in the routine?" he asked suddenly, breaking the spell but not the connection. "Definitely," she admitted, her brow furrowing slightly. "Sometimes it feels like life is just a series of tasks. I think that's why I come here. There's a certain beauty in the chaos, and it reminds me that there's still art in the mundane." Vincent nodded thoughtfully. "I can relate to that. My life often feels like an endless loop of meetings and deadlines. But then there are moments like this where I feel a spark, like I'm really living." "Exactly," Eliza said, her heart racing a little faster. "It's those small moments that remind us we're more than just our work. We're human." "Right," he replied, his voice dropping slightly, a hint of sincerity threading through his words. "You know, I used to think success was all that mattered. But now, I'm starting to realize it's about connections, stories, and experiences, much like the art you create." Eliza felt a rush of warmth at his words, her smile widening. "That's a refreshing perspective. Not everyone shares it," Vincent said, his tone turning more serious. "In my world, it's all about appearances, status. But I've been wanting to break free from that to seek something deeper, something real." Before she could respond, the barista called their names, and Vincent stepped forward to retrieve their drinks. As he handed her latte to her, their fingers brushed lightly. A thrill shot through Eliza, igniting something in the pit of her stomach. Okay, he said, his voice teasing. Let's find a place to sit before I start getting too philosophical. Eliza laughed, her heart fluttering. I'm all for philosophical conversations over coffee, but I suppose we should also enjoy the ambience. They found a small table by the window, a perfect vantage point for people watching. As they settled in, Eliza took a sip of her latte, the warmth spreading through her, matching the glow in Vincent's eyes as he leaned in closer. So tell me more about your grandmother. What was her favorite story? He asked, his curiosity genuine. Eliza paused, the memories washing over her like a tide. She loved fairy tales, but not the typical ones. She had this old, tattered book filled with lesser-known stories, ones about brave little mice, enchanted gardens, and magical creatures that lived in the most mundane places. She used to read them to me before bed, and they ignited my imagination. I can see why those stories would inspire you, he said, his gaze steady. There's something enchanting about finding magic in the ordinary. Exactly, Eliza exclaimed, her excitement palpable. That's what my whole book is about, finding the extraordinary in the everyday. I want kids to see the potential for adventure, even in their own backyards. Vincent nodded, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. I think you're going to inspire a lot of kids with that. Thank you, I really hope so, she said, feeling a warmth bloom within her. And what about you? What inspires you in your work? He hesitated, a flicker of something darker crossing his features. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm in finance, numbers, spreadsheets, all that jazz. It can be a little soul-sucking, you know. Eliza nodded, understanding the weight of his words. That sounds tough. It must be hard to stay connected to your passions in that environment. Exactly, he said, a hint of frustration evident. I've been thinking about shifting gears, maybe doing something that matters more. But it's scary to think about leaving the stability of it all. Stability is important, but so is happiness, she replied, her voice earnest. It's a tough balance to find. Vincent's gaze softened, and for a moment, Eliza felt as if the world outside had faded away. I admire your courage, Eliza. You're pursuing what you love, and that's not something everyone has the guts to do. Thank you, she said, her heart racing at the sincerity in his voice. It's a journey, but I'd rather chase my dreams than settle for a life that feels empty. You're right, he said, his eyes locking onto hers. And I want that for myself too. I want to be brave enough to take that leap. She felt a wave of warmth wash over her, sensing the connection drawing them closer. You can be brave. It's just about taking the first step, right? Right, he agreed, his voice low. And who knows, maybe we can inspire each other along the way. Eliza felt her heart race at the implication, the moment stretching between them with an electric charge. She had never expected to feel so deeply connected to a stranger in such a short time. And yet here they were, two souls navigating the complexities of life and art, seeking deeper meanings amidst the chaos. As they continued to talk, sharing stories, dreams, and laughter, the world outside faded into a distant hum. Eliza felt alive in a way she hadn't in a long time, the connection between them thrilling and exhilarating. Amidst the warmth of the cafe and the rich aroma of coffee, she realized she was no longer just a solitary figure in a bustling subway station. She was a participant in a story, one that was unfolding right before her eyes, filled with possibility, connection, and perhaps even a touch of magic. The cafe hummed with life around them, the sounds of clinking cups and the soft murmur of conversations creating a comforting backdrop as Eliza and Vincent delved deeper into their dialogue. With each passing moment, the initial spark of connection grew into something more tangible, more exhilarating, a dance of vulnerability and curiosity that neither of them could deny. So, what was the last adventure you had? Vincent asked, leaning back slightly, his fingers wrapped around his latte, steam rising like ethereal wisps around them. The way he studied her, his blue eyes sparkling with genuine interest, made Eliza feel like she was the only one in the room. Eliza considered the question carefully, a playful smile tugging at her lips. "Well, I recently took a weekend trip to a small coastal town. I felt the need to escape the city to breathe. I stumbled upon this charming little harbor and spent hours sketching the boats swaying in the water. It was liberating." "Sounds lovely. There's something magical about the ocean, isn't there?" Vincent replied, his expression softening. "The way it always seems to be in motion, yet it holds such a timeless quality at the same time." "Exactly," she said, her heart quickening as their thoughts intertwined. "It's like a reminder that life is fluid, constantly changing. I think that's what I love most about art. It captures those fleeting moments, the beauty of transience." "Just like the tide." Vincent nodded, his gaze intense and thoughtful. "You speak of art with such passion. It's refreshing. I can tell how much it means to you. Do you ever think about how you can share that passion on a larger scale?" "I've thought about it," Eliza admitted, a hint of uncertainty creeping into her voice. "But it's a daunting thought. Sometimes I wonder if I really have what it takes to reach a wider audience. What if my work isn't good enough?" "Don't doubt yourself," he said, his tone earnest. "You have a unique perspective. Your art is a reflection of your experiences and your voice. Authenticity resonates more than perfection. It's what draws people in." She felt a flutter of gratitude at his encouragement, warmth spreading through her chest. It's easy to forget that sometimes, especially in a world that often values commercial success over genuine expression. Vincent leaned in, his intensity drawing her closer. "Exactly. And that's why the world needs artists like you, someone who reminds us of the beauty in the everyday. You have the power to inspire." Eliza smiled, feeling the unguarded sincerity in his words. "Thank you, Vincent. It feels good to hear that from someone who seems to understand the struggle." "Trust me, I do," he said, a hint of weariness creeping into his tone. "The pressure to succeed can overshadow the joy of creating. I often find myself caught in that whirlwind, trying to navigate what's expected of me versus what I truly want." "Is that why you're considering a change?" she asked, intrigued by the vulnerable side he revealed. "Yeah," he sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I've been in finance for a while now, and while it's stable, it doesn't ignite my spirit. I want to do something that feels meaningful, that leaves a mark. But the fear of losing that security is paralyzing." Eliza felt a pang of empathy for him, their shared struggle weaving an intricate thread between them. "It's terrifying to take that leap, but sometimes the best things come from stepping into the unknown." Vincent met her gaze, his expression thoughtful. "You're right. It's just easier said than done. It feels like I've built a life around this identity, and letting go of that feels like stepping off a cliff." "Maybe it's not about letting go, but rather evolving," she suggested. "You can carry your experiences with you, integrate them into whatever path you choose next. Life is an art in itself, a canvas that changes with each brushstroke." A smile tugged at the corners of his lips, as if he was searching for the right words. "You truly have a gift, Eliza. You make me see things from a different angle, and I appreciate that." Her heart raced at his compliment, a flush creeping to her cheeks. "Thank you. I want to encourage others to find the beauty in their own stories, too." "I think you're on the right path," he said, his voice low and sincere. "And who knows? Maybe this connection is a part of your own artistic journey, a serendipitous moment of inspiration." Eliza felt the air between them thicken, a palpable tension igniting the space they occupied. "Maybe it is," she whispered, her heart racing at the possibility. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, each word weaving a tapestry of shared dreams and aspirations. They exchanged stories of their childhoods, of moments that shaped them into who they were today. Eliza spoke of her grandmother's unwavering support, of how she had always encouraged her to explore and dream without limits. Vincent shared snippets of his life, a privileged upbringing that came with its own burdens and expectations. "I've always felt like I was destined for something more than what was laid out for me," he confessed, his voice tinged with vulnerability. "But it's hard to break free from those shackles." "Breaking free is never easy," Eliza replied, her tone understanding. "But it's worth it. I feel like the journey to discover oneself is the most vital part of living." Vincent studied her closely, something unspoken flickering in his gaze. "You have an incredible outlook on life, Eliza. It's refreshing to meet someone who sees the world through such a beautiful lens." She caught his gaze, the depth of his blue eyes making her breath hitch. "It's all about perspective, I guess," she said softly. "It's about choosing to see the magic even in the chaos." "Speaking of magic," he said, his voice lowering as he leaned closer, "what do you think is the most magical thing about this moment right now?" Eliza's heart raced at the implication of his words, an electric charge sparking between them. "I think it's that we're both here, sharing this experience, two people from different worlds, connecting over our dreams and fears. Or perhaps it's the potential of what we could create together," he said, his gaze unwavering. "The stories yet to be written, the dreams yet to be chased." She felt a warmth bloom within her, an unguarded hope that maybe this encounter was more than a fleeting moment. "I'd like that," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, the weight of his stare sending shivers down her spine. Just then the cafe door swung open, and a blast of cold air swept in, breaking the intimate bubble they had created. Eliza shivered slightly, the chill contrasting sharply with the warmth she felt from Vincent. "Here, take my jacket," he said, immediately slipping off his tailored coat and draping it over her shoulders. The fabric enveloped her, a lingering warmth from his body now surrounding her. She breathed in the subtle scent of his cologne, a mix of fresh cedarwood and something distinctly him. "Thank you," she murmured, feeling a rush of gratitude. "You know," he said, his voice playful, "you wear it well. I think it looks better on you." Eliza felt her cheeks heat up at the compliment, a shy smile creeping onto her lips. "You're just trying to keep me warm." "Maybe a little of both," he replied, his tone light yet laced with an underlying seriousness. "But mostly I like seeing you smile." They held each other's gaze, a heartbeat passing between them, a silent acknowledgement of the magnetic pull drawing them closer. Eliza felt a flutter of anticipation stir within her, the possibilities stretching out before them like an infinite canvas. "Let's create something memorable," Vincent said, breaking the moment but still holding her gaze. "How about we take a walk after this? I can show you some of my favorite spots around here." Eliza felt a thrill at the suggestion, her heart racing at the thought of exploring the city with him. "I would love that." As they finished their coffees, the air around them buzzed with excitement, the potential of the rest of the day alive with promise. Eliza couldn't help but feel that this unexpected encounter had ignited something deep within her, a reminder that amidst the chaos and uncertainty of life, there were moments of genuine connection waiting to be discovered. With their hearts open and their paths intertwined, Eliza and Vincent stepped out into the crisp afternoon air, ready to embrace the adventure that lay ahead. The city hummed with life around them, yet in that moment, it felt like they were the only two souls meant to wander together, discovering the magic hidden in the layers of their stories. The city stretched out before them, a sprawling labyrinth of bustling streets and towering buildings, the sound of distant laughter and the honking of horns blending into a symphony of urban life. Eliza felt a rush of exhilaration as she walked side by side with Vincent, his coat still draped over her shoulders, a warm reminder of their connection. The chill in the air was forgotten, replaced by the warmth of anticipation that surged between them. "Where to first?" she asked, glancing up at him, her heart racing at how effortlessly they had fallen into step. Vincent looked thoughtful for a moment, his blue eyes scanning the bustling street. "There's a little park nearby, a hidden gem. It's usually not crowded and it has this beautiful pond that reflects the skyline. I think you'd love it." "Sounds perfect," Eliza replied, her excitement bubbling to the surface. "Lead the way." As they wandered through the streets, Eliza took in the vibrant energy of the city, her senses heightened by the presence of Vincent beside her. There was a comfortable rhythm to their conversation, punctuated by laughter and shared glances that lingered just a moment too long. She found herself stealing glances at him, the way his hair caught the light, how he moved with a relaxed confidence that drew her in. Each step felt like a little adventure, a promise of something beautiful unfolding. "So, what's your favorite thing about this city?" she asked, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled between them. Vincent paused, his expression contemplative. "I love its unpredictability. You can walk down the same street every day, and yet, somehow, there's always something new to discover. It's kind of like life, don't you think? Full of surprises." Eliza nodded, feeling the truth in his words. "Absolutely. I think that's why I love sketching urban scenes. There's always a story hidden in the small details, the way the sun hits a building or how people interact in a moment that seems mundane." "Your perspective is incredibly refreshing," he said, the sincerity in his voice making her heart flutter. "You see beauty where others might overlook it." "Thank you," she replied, her cheeks warming at the compliment. "It's something my grandmother taught me, to notice the little things. She had a way of making the ordinary feel extraordinary." A flicker of recognition danced in Vincent's eyes as he listened. "Sounds like she was a remarkable woman. Her influence clearly shaped your view of the world." "She was," Eliza said, her voice softening. "She always encouraged me to find inspiration everywhere. Even in moments that felt lost or mundane, she'd remind me that there was magic to be found if I just looked for it." As they approached the park, a beautiful expanse of greenery nestled between towering skyscrapers, Eliza felt a surge of anticipation. The entrance was framed by arching trees, their branches swaying gently in the breeze, creating a serene atmosphere that contrasted sharply with the chaos of the city outside. "Here it is," Vincent said, gesturing towards the park with a smile. "Welcome to my little sanctuary." Eliza stepped through the entrance, the tranquility enveloping her like a warm embrace. The park was a hidden oasis. The soft rustle of leaves and the distant sound of water lapping against the shore of the pond created a peaceful backdrop. She felt the weight of the world fade away, replaced by a sense of wonder as she took in the sights and sounds around her. "This is beautiful," she breathed, her eyes wide as she admired the view. "It's like a little piece of paradise in the middle of the city." Vincent smiled, a glimmer of pride in his eyes. "I come here whenever I need to clear my head. There's something about being surrounded by nature that brings a sense of clarity." Eliza nodded, her heart swelling with appreciation for this moment they shared. "I can see why. It feels like the perfect spot to gather thoughts and find inspiration." They wandered further into the park, the path winding past blooming flowers and tall grasses that danced in the breeze. Vincent pointed out various trees and plants, sharing snippets of information that revealed a deeper connection to the place. Eliza felt a warmth grow inside her, captivated by his passion and the way he spoke with such enthusiasm. As they reached the pond, Eliza paused, captivated by the shimmering water reflecting the sky. "Wow, she murmured, taking a step closer to the edge. It's breathtaking. Vincent stood beside her, their shoulders brushing lightly. It really is. I love coming here to sketch, especially during sunset when the colors dance across the surface of the water. I can only imagine how beautiful your sketches must be, Eliza said, turning to face him. You see the world in such a vivid way. His gaze met hers, a moment of connection pulsing between them, and for a heartbeat, the rest of the world faded away. Maybe you could show me how you capture the world through your eyes, he suggested, his voice low, laced with something deeper. Eliza felt her heart race at the suggestion. I'd love that, she replied softly, an unspoken promise hanging in the air. It's always more fun to create something with someone else. Then let's make it happen, he said, a spark of excitement igniting in his eyes. But first, let's find a place to sit. They settled on a weathered wooden bench overlooking the pond, the sound of gentle splashes and birdsong surrounding them. Eliza pulled out her sketchbook, feeling a rush of inspiration at the tranquil scene before her. Would you like to try sketching? She asked, handing him a pencil and paper. Vincent chuckled, his expression teasing. I can barely draw a straight line, but I'm willing to give it a shot if you promise not to judge. Eliza laughed, her heart warming at his playful demeanor. I promise, just draw what you see. It doesn't have to be perfect. As she began to sketch, she could feel his gaze on her, the intensity of his focus igniting a warmth in her cheeks. I'm really impressed by your talent, he said, watching her strokes with admiration. You make it look so easy. It's just practice, she shrugged, glancing up at him. But it's also about feeling the moment, the energy, the atmosphere. You can only capture what's in front of you if you're present. Vincent nodded, his expression thoughtful. I think that's true for so many things in life. It's all about being aware, being in the moment. Exactly, Eliza replied, feeling a rush of excitement at their shared understanding. I think that's why I love art and storytelling. It allows me to live in those moments, to create something lasting from them. As they continued to sketch, laughter and playful banter filled the air, each exchange drawing them closer together. Eliza felt a flutter of connection, a chemistry that was undeniable. The world around them faded into the background, leaving only the intimacy of their shared experience. After a while, Vincent finally put down his pencil, a grin breaking across his face. All right, how did I do? Eliza leaned closer, examining his drawing. It was a simple sketch, a rough outline of the pond with trees in the background, but there was something genuine about it. I think it's wonderful. You captured the essence of the moment. Really? He asked, his eyes lighting up with amusement and pride. Absolutely, she assured him, her heart soaring at the way he seemed to genuinely enjoy the experience. It's all about capturing the feeling, and you definitely did that. He leaned closer, a playful glint in his eye. Maybe I should consider a career change after all. First finance, then art. Eliza laughed, the sound bubbling up from deep within her. Why not? You never know what you might discover about yourself. True, he said, his gaze steady and sincere. And who knows, maybe we could collaborate on something someday, an artist and an aspiring artist creating magic together. Her heart raced at the thought, the idea dancing on the edge of possibility. I'd love that. I think we could create something beautiful. Vincent's expression softened, and in that moment, everything felt alive with potential. You have a way of making even the simplest moments feel profound, Eliza. Their eyes locked, the world around them fading into insignificance as the gravity of the moment settled between them. Eliza felt a rush of warmth, a connection deeper than anything she had experienced in a long time. Thank you, Vincent. That means a lot, she replied softly. His gaze lingered, an unspoken acknowledgement of the bond they were forging. I find myself hoping we'll have more moments like this together, he said, his voice low and filled with sincerity. A soft smile broke on her lips, her heart swelling with an emotion she couldn't quite name. Me too, she whispered, the warmth between them palpable. Just then, a group of children ran past them, laughter ringing through the air like music. Eliza watched them with a wistful smile, the memories of her own childhood flaring to life. She turned to Vincent, her heart full. Moments like this remind me of how important it is to hold onto our inner child, to embrace the joy and wonder in the world. Vincent tilted his head, studying her. You have a beautiful spirit, Eliza,